So oftentimes disputes in the intellectual property realm are not necessarily limited to patents that exist, but maybe whether they ought to exist at all. Patents protect various things. They protect ideas. They protect products, which are things. They protect processes, which are ways to make things. They protect methods, which is ways to do things, and they protect improvements, which are ways to better things. Um, there's even a little quote in the U.S. legislative document on patents that says everything under the sun can be patented. But a hot topic right now in today's patent world and intellectual property is going on in Europe. So Monsanto is a company that's known for patenting seeds. They do genetics, they do gene splicing, they genetically modify foods to make them more resistant, to make them sort of, not that they're unnatural, but to make them better at doing what they do. That's growing, surviving, reproducing, you name it. And recently, Monsanto in India discovered this gene in melons. And the gene in melons makes the melon resistant to various diseases that could kill entire crops. So what they did was they breeded this certain melon gene into their melons that they produce elsewhere outside of India, and essentially patented it. And initially, the European Patent Office granted them this because they said, "Hey, like you guys figured out how to make this melon resistant, and so here's a patent." Now, what happened was a particular group in Europe that fights against patenting of seeds and stuff, fights on behalf of small farmers, came out and said, "Hey, Monsanto didn't actually create the gene; they didn't splice it; they just discovered it. It already naturally exists in melons in India." And so, what that essentially does for what essentially means is that patents, it's not something that they created, it's something that they discovered and implemented. And so the European Patent Office actually rejected their patent, and now they no longer have that right. This is a pretty big, important, key case. Monsanto comes under a lot of heat, oftentimes for sort of displacing smaller farmers with shady practices, such as forcing, let's say, small farmers to either choose to use their seeds and then pay them a royalty on it, or not use their seeds, not have as good of a crop, and not make as much money. So this is a big case against them in that it shows that not necessarily not everything can be patented, and some things are actually naturally occurring and are discovered instead of used. So there are a lot of interesting things, a lot of moving pieces going on here, and I think moving forward into the future, it's going to set a precedent for what exactly can be considered a GMO patent and what can't be. This is going to be a big issue moving forward as we have growing populations, growing needs, trying to fight hunger across the world. People are going to say patenting GMOs is great because it allows companies to like Monsanto to produce masses and masses and masses of food for people who are hungry and need it. Others will say it's not great because then we're falling under this agribusiness corporate culture, and they are monopolizing food and the way we eat it and pushing out small farmers. So the debate continues, but as of today, Monsanto loses.